Julie Skipper is our guest for the second segment of the show, Profiles Mississippi Radio. I'm Jack Criss, your host and also the publisher of Profiles Mississippi Magazine. Julie, I know you have an official title. I know you have a day job.
That's right.
But for those of us who do read Facebook and look at it, and I admit I enjoy it now, you're on Facebook seemingly all the time. You're at every event in Jackson. You must have cloned yourself. Tell me first of all, your official job title.
My official job title is Director of Development for the Community Foundation of Greater Jackson. And I've been there since November of '08.
Now, I know a little bit about you and what you did in the past. You were an attorney.
I was a lawyer for 4 years.
With a prominent firm here in Jackson. And you left that.
I sure did.
Why?
Well, I guess sort of like you were saying, my community involvement and my passion for my sort of extracurricular activities began to more and more inform my life. And I'm just passionate about the community, and I'm passionate about service and giving back and helping the community to achieve its full potential. And I just sort of came to a conclusion after about a year-long period that I needed to do something that would allow me to give back more in my day-to-day work rather than it simply being my extracurricular activities. And after a lot of soul searching and talking to some wonderful mentors here in the community, I sort of decided that development was something that I might enjoy because, like you said, I am out and about. I enjoy interacting with people, and I think the Community Foundation is just a wonderful organization. It's going to be a transformative force here in the community, particularly for our nonprofits and our treasured institutions. And it just sort of fortuitously happened that about the time I was ready to make a change, this opportunity became available.
Fell into place.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, a lot of people say what you just said, but at 5 o'clock they may go home and that's it. And I'm guilty of that. I mean, you know, you've got other obligations, but you seem to be at the events that are taking place. You're promoting the events, and let's be honest. There are a lot of things to do now in Jackson.
Absolutely, it's so exciting. And I'd say sometimes that I'm a reborn Mississippian. I graduated from Millsaps College in '01, and at that time I decided, or I thought that I wanted to leave Mississippi and not come back. And so
most graduates do.
You know, which is one thing I'm working on, is recruiting and retaining those young professionals. And so I went off to Vanderbilt for law school, and just kind of, I feel like, you know, life leads you where you're supposed to be, and I wound up back here, and I'm so glad that I have been able to. I felt like when I came back, was brought back here, it was for a reason, and I've sort of come into feeling like this is why, so I can be involved and make a difference. I feel like we have a great opportunity here in Jackson. It's a big city enough where there is a lot going on, but in 4 short years, I came here and I didn't know anybody, and now the joke is I know everybody.
You know everybody, yeah.
But it's been very easy to get involved if you have that desire and you have that passion, and I think that's amazing.
Look, if you know me and Jeff Good, that's all you need.
That's all I need,
now,
right?
Are you a native Jacksonian?
I'm not. I'm originally from Meridian.
Well, see, that's interesting. Why not that passion toward your hometown? I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, or do you have that passion for Meridian?
Well, you know, I think I do say that Jackson's the only place in Mississippi that I would live. I do need a little bit more of a city, I think.
Yeah. And
Meridian is a great place, and I do keep track of what's going on there. For instance, I'm very, very excited. There's a building in downtown Meridian called the 3-Foot Building, which is Meridian's quote-unquote skyscraper. It's an old Art Deco building, and HRI, who is doing the King Edward and Standard Life projects here, has recently come on board for that building. And so downtown Meridian is kind of enjoying some renaissance, and they have downtown living there now. I live in downtown Jackson, so I think that's exciting, and I'm happy for the city.
And you were, Jeff mentioned you were at the Harvey Johnson event at the University Club last night. One thing that bothers me, and I was born in South Jackson, which is as Jackson as you can get. I've lived here all my life in the metro area. If you turn on any given news channel, and I'm not knocking my friends in, you know, television media, but you see first and foremost the murders, the crime, you know, you don't see the positive events. To me, you should have a bit of a balance. In fact, you know, I guess it is news, it's hard news, but it does cast a kind of a pale. Do you think that the Jackson media, for the most part, does a good enough job of promoting the positive things, or do you have a problem with?
I definitely have a problem with it, and I think that we have a few good outlets, and I think we have a few news folk who get it. But what I've become extremely frustrated is particularly print media, particularly the Ledger, because it's the statewide newspaper. And so if I am Joe Blow in Crystal Springs and I don't know what's really going on in Jackson, and that's all I see, I'm going to say, oh, Jackson's a horrible place, and it's just not true.
Well, and it's mainly...
And so that's extremely frustrating for me.
You've got out-of-towners brought in from Gannett running the Clarion Ledger.
Right. I mean, and there was a local, I still go back, a few months ago when the convention complex opened, there was a local media television station who covered the event, and this is a huge thing for Jackson and the state. And what did they do? They stuck a microphone in someone's face who was not from Jackson and said, "Do you feel safe here?" I mean, that's not the story.
The question's loaded.
I mean, you know, and so that's frustrating, and I don't know how you change that.
Well, and you've got, you know, the Jackson Free Press has always done a tremendous job of promoting events in Jackson. Todd and Donna. I've always had an editorial position where I wanted to publish the good news, because I'm not going to win a Pulitzer Prize. I don't want to. There are other outlets that will publish, you know, who shot who and that kind of thing. And I've always said, you would probably agree with this statement, that there are so many wonderful businesses in our city, but they don't get coverage because no one was murdered on the premises, or they didn't go bankrupt, or, you know.
Right.
But there are wonderful stories out there, and we've just got to find them.
Well, and I think we've got to start telling our own story. That's the thing. I think
through Facebook and other outlets.
Right, and other outlets, and you know, Ben Allen is working on some stuff where we can help inform the media. I mean, maybe they just don't know. We need to be able to tell our own story so that we can help them find those.
One thing, you know, I don't mean to get too controversial, but last week or week before we had this Girls Gone Wild thing come in, and there was a representative from the CVB on camera saying this was a wonderful thing for the city, and to me that was a joke. You know, look at how many people showed up to that event. How much money was made? None.
It was just a handful.
We've got to promote the positive things, and on any given night, wouldn't you say that there's something to do in Jackson?
Absolutely.
Jackson proper. I'm not talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
there's so much to do. I can't even do it all.
Now you live. Do you mind? Tell me where you live. Okay.
I live at the Tom Bigby Lofts at State Street and Tom Bigby.
And now we have several buildings that have been converted to apartments.
Absolutely, and we have a downtown neighborhood association, which is very exciting.
Tell me about that.
We have within the Central Business District, which is the area that Downtown Jackson Partners covers. It's a pretty small section of downtown. There are around 150 or 200 residents. Now, our neighborhood association borders are larger than that, so we probably have maybe twice that many. But particularly as more units get ready to come online, there will be 64 units at the King Edward that will be opening in the winter. There are numerous other properties that are going to have additional housing. I just felt like it was important for the residents to have a sense of community. Downtown Jackson Partners and the Chamber do a great job representing the business interests and the economic development, but as it is a residential area now, I felt like we needed to be able to have a voice and a way to just have a sense of community. It's actually the first place I've lived in my adult life where I do know all my neighbors and we hang out, and it really is a great neighborhood feel. You know, and we also want to help get the message out that downtown is residential and it is safe and it's a great place to live, work, and play.